Hi, you guys. Okay, Snowfall, Season 4, Episode 3. The episode picks off where it left off. Gustavo is waiting for Teddy to arrive, I guess so he can see what happened. And Gustavo, he goes to the closet, grab his gun, and Teddy said, "What are you doing?" Gustavo said, "What do you think I'm doing?" Teddy said, "No, don't go over there and get yourself killed. We will get them." He tries to stop Gustavo, and Gustavo pushed Teddy's ass. And Teddy ass hit that floor so hard. And you know it doesn't take much because Gustavo is strong as shit. So that's why Teddy smacked that floor like that. Franklin meets up with Nix. And he tells him, "Look, I offered you a good amount of money to do a job if you could do it. You couldn't, and it's fine. But do not ever come for my family again. 4 months ago, you may have something on me, but you took the money. Just take what you're getting, do your job, and please shut the fuck up." Franklin was looking Nick straight in the eyes with a straight face when he was telling him this. He was not playing any games with Nix. And I think Nix, he sensed this. Like, this dude ain't playing. Now, I was wondering, what's up with Scully? Everybody are out and about like a psycho is not roaming the streets on the hunt for them. Fatback tells Leon that everyone is telling him that he need to watch his back because of the Scully and Franklin beef. And Leon tells Fatback that, yeah, we gave him guns. And I was thinking that on the last episode, when Scully brought the exact gun that Franklin gave him to use in a war that you are in the middle of now. That was very stupid on Franklin's behalf. Anyway, Wanda was out there acting a fool because she done got a dub of crack rocks. Leon rushes over to her because the guy was pushing her because she was jumping on his back and shit. So he pushed her like, "Get the fuck off me." Leon still cares for her. He just can't be with her while she's on that shit tripping. Wanda tells Leon, "I'm sorry, baby. This weak ass rock that they giving us got me tripping." Leon tells her, "Look, you can't be acting like this. You know how these niggas is. Just try act right." Wanda takes her crack rocks in the back. She's out there with some other addicts. And her tooth comes out. And the other lady that was out there, she was laughing so hard because she high as shit. I think Snowfall has an accurate depiction of what happens to a person when they get on that shit and get strung out. Once a person is hooked, it's downhill from there. Wanda's body is responding to the abuse of crack cocaine. Her teeth is decaying. She runs over to a mirror that was out there. I think this is the first time she probably really looked at herself since she got addicted. So maybe they're plotting on her comeback. Look at Man Boy walking around like Scully ain't dead. I don't know if he got word yet, but he needs to lay low. He meets up with Jerome and Louie to get his re-up. He's telling Jerome that he a killer and his name should be Babyface Nilton. Who the fuck is that? He meant Nelson. And here he go with this sneaky shit. He tells them, you know, it was good when all three of us was just working together. Now that Franklin back, everything kind of shaky. Louie done told Franklin she done tried to tell him. As soon as Man Boy is done with Scully, he gonna be coming for us. Stevie Wonder could have seen that. This is the shiesty shit that Man Boy pulls. He tried to plant a seed by saying that everybody was doing something except for Franklin. He got the fuck up out of there quick. Lloyd said, "No, you don't know what you talking about." And they got the fuck up out. Irene meets up with one of the detectives that was at the park when Franklin killed Kevin. He tells Irene that he wants to see Franklin in jail. Irene asks him, "Well, what did he do?" And he said he killed his best friend. And Irene said, "Well, it's no record of that." He tells Irene, "Yes, it has to be one. I was there. We arrested him. He had an arraignment and he was denied bail. It has to be something out there." And Irene said, "You know who you're talking to. It's not out there." Irene goes home and she's talking to what I thought was her husband, but it's her ex-husband. She's telling him that Franklin has to have someone protecting him in the higher ups because of what the detective told her earlier. If everything that the detective told Irene leads her to believe that Franklin is a potential cop cop killer who brings in millions of dollars every week off of that poison. He tells Irene that she needs to calm down. We done been down this road before, and I don't want to see you getting stepped on again. And we learned that Irene has some shit that she's dealing with. She doesn't have a relationship with her daughter, and it looks like she has an alcohol problem. Every time she was doing work, she is at the bar. Now we see her drowning her sorrows in a drink, I guess because her ex-husband found a girl, and I'm sure she's going through a lot of emotional things because her daughter isn't speaking to her right now. Despite Irene's ex-husband advice, she meets up with the detective again. He tells Irene, you're right, there is no record of Franklin. He tells her that Soledad was one of the detectives on the case, and her handler hasn't heard from her in months. Irene says, say what now? And she wants more information, and he said, this is where I stop. I never seen a cover-up of this caliber. He said, whatever this is, people is going to lengths I have never seen. This is the type of shit that will get you killed. But he does leave Irene with Soledad handler Tony Marino. And we know where Soledad is, dead, and Irene is going to be next. Sissy makes arrangements to meet with Paul Davis at his home since Franklin ass isn't. Like at last episode, Alton said, reason why Franklin isn't trying to talk to Paul Davis is because it's not profiting him. Sissy understands that being connected to Davis isn't about the money. It's about the power that Franklin is going to need to get on a clean slate. Sissy tells him how much of a fan she is of his work in the real estate game. And I think she was telling him that she's aware of his shady business deals. So Davis asks her, so what are you telling me, that your son is going to bail me out with his drug money? Why are you here? Back at the house, Alton is going off on Franklin and Sissy. Earlier that day, Franklin went down to the bookstore. He makes an offer to the owners that they can't refuse, and they turn over the deed to their store, putting it in Franklin's name. Alton is going off. He's like, that was wrong. The right thing to do was to ask them what they wanted to do. Sissy said, come on now. You know eventually they would have lost the store. The owners must be having problems with city codes and violations. And also, buyers are trying to come and push them out. There's a knock at the door interrupting their conversation. And it's motherfucking Nix. And he places Sissy under arrest. He puts her in the back of the cop car, and Sissy, you know, she's nervous. Where you taking me? You got to take me to the station so I can make a call. This brutal motherfucker slams on brakes so she can go forward and hit her head on the steel gate with his raggedy ass. We already know that he's all about police brutality. He takes Sissy to a graveyard, and I'm like, oh shit. And I figured this was going to be Andre's gravesite, but I thought he was going to do something way more sinister. He walks Sissy to this tombstone, and he pushes her to the ground, and her face is touching the tombstone, and she is scared because she don't know what the fuck his crazy ass going to do. I was scared as well. And Nix tells her, your son killed him. And he walks away. Thank God. Sissy finds a phone booth, and the family pick her up, and everyone is there. Louie and Jerome, Alton and Franklin. And this really fucked up Jerome. I would think Franklin or Alton would have got the first hug, but Jerome made sure he got his hug first. It brought tears to my eyes. Before getting in the car, Sissy tells Franklin, make the deal with Davis. The very next day, Franklin goes over to Davis, and Franklin gives Davis the deed to the bookstore, sealing the deal. Davis tells Franklin that the cop situation will be taken care of. It seems like these two are going to be meeting up for other business ventures. Okay, Nix is at work in his boss' office, and he finds out that he's going to be taken off the street. He will be transferred to evidence downtown. See how it pays off to have friends in high positions? Franklin goes on down to the bookstore. He tells Mr. and Mrs. Mosley that they have to move because he sold the store to Paul Davis. Excuse me, what? He tells them that they can keep the check that he gave them and that they have another store about a mile away. But Mr. and Mrs. Mosley, they want to stay there. That bookstore been in their family for 30 years. Mrs. Mosley tells Franklin to keep your silver, Satan, and fuck you. This book store has been a staple of the community for over 30 years. And Franklin, you're already flooding the community with cocaine. And now you want to be the one who tricks your community out of their deeds and things of that sort. What will Franklin do when he needs the community to stand by him and support him? I understand that Franklin has to play chess and not checkers, but I don't like this. I didn't like this at all. Also, I do not trust Paul Davis. I'm keeping my eye on him. I forgot to mention when a family came and picked up Sissy, and Franklin was asking her, what did Nick say? And Sissy said, well, he didn't tell me anything that I didn't already know. I knew Sissy knew that Franklin killed Andre. Sissy knows she was wrong when she posted the repast over at her house all up in his sister's face. I just felt like Sissy should have just stayed out of it. I know Sissy meant well, but that's a bit much. Gustavo is on a mission for revenge. He gets out the car with his shotgun and he is ready to serve up something so sweet. And he gets knocked in the back of the head with a gun and it knocks him completely the fuck out. He wakes up with his hands behind his back with some strange men in front of him. He trying to find out who they are. And Reed walks in. Reed tells Gustavo that those men that hit him in the back of the head, they're Mexican intelligence and they're going to help him find the man that killed his cousin. Gustavo is all confused, like, why would Mexican intelligence help us find the killers? And Reed tells him, I'm not a drug dealer. I'm CIA. Now, if you want to find the killers, we're going to have to go down to DFS. Gustavo was sitting there tripping off this shit. Like, how the fuck we get here? He tells Reed, I should have known you were CIA. Reed asks him, was it the guns? Gustavo said, no, you're way too uptight to be a drug dealer. Like I've been saying, Reed was a square, awkward guy. Reed said, how many people you know get away with killing a DEA agent? And I think this was his way of trying to sucker Gustavo to continue to do business with him. Gustavo told him, look, I'll still work with you, but we gonna have to kill them motherfuckers. Gustavo also asked a very important question. What kind of government will bring cocaine to their own people? And Teddy has to ask himself the same question. I know that he does. And I think this is why he looks so stressed. He's supposed to be doing this for the greater good. But what about the greater bad that's happening right here in the United States? Reed tells Gustavo, well, you got to look at it like this. At least you're protected. Yeah, right. We'll see about that. Reed and Gustavo goes in the back and the Mexican intelligence lady tells them that she has permission to grant them some protection, but with some conditions. There is to be no violence or executions in Tijuana, no shooting up private homes or police stations. She hands Reed a silver platter with the new sheriff in town and his sidekick information on there. The plan is to get the new sheriff in town to run into isolation at one of his properties outside of Tijuana. Gustavo said, oh, he needs something to be scared of to run down there. Bet, I got you. Reed and Gustavo, they head over to this bar. And Reed said, look, remember, nothing public. Gustavo said, relax. Gustavo spots the officer that was there when he got pulled over, the new sheriff in town, Sidekick. But Sidekick does not see Gustavo. So Sidekick is going up the steps with this girl. And unbeknownst to them, Gustavo was right on their tail. When the officer reached the top of the steps, Gustavo smashes his head into the wall. The young lady was out of there. Gustavo started fucking him up and he throws him over the banister. So everyone that was sitting outside with their food and drinks, all of a sudden they see a body drop down and they got the fuck up out of there. And Gustavo comes down there and he just started gutting him like a fish, killing him. And Gustavo carves 100,000 on his forehead. So by the time the new sheriff in town gets down there, that's a message for him. And when he see that 100,000 carved on that man's forehead, that'll get him running into isolation. However, the Mexican intelligence lady done told you, Gustavo, not to do anything inside Tijuana. Reed meets back up with Gustavo the very next day. I guess Gustavo was like, I don't even want to hear his fucking mouth. And Reed was just going off because he was frustrated, which I kind of understand because now that Gustavo know that he's CIA and just how easy it was for him to go up in that office and get that information handed right to him, What is the rush? Are you trying to kill them, Gustavo? Now that you did that, the Mexican intelligence, they took their hands off of it, and we won't get our manpower that we need. It will just be the two of us trying to fight. I don't know how many of them that he done got down there. Gustavo tell Reed that, you know what, you're right about everything, but what would you do? Have you ever had someone murder someone that you love that was close to you? Poor kids are going to be left an orphan. Jesus, where is the children? I forgot about that. So we just going to act like they not out here? Anyway, Gustavo plan did work. Him killing that sidekick, it ran the new sheriff in town into isolation. However, he took some goons with him, and now it's only Gustavo and Reed. Gustavo and Reed, they go out to the home, and they set up shop, and they must have camped outside from what it looks like for hours. Honey. So the goons, they outside enjoying them a little candlelight dinner. Think your shit's sweet and they protected. And next thing you know, all five of them was dead to the table. Reed was making his way on the inside, and he got shot twice. I thought he was dead, but luckily the bulletproof vest came in handy. Reed was just popping them. And out comes the new sheriff in town with his robe on, with a goon, and they come running down them steps. He hopped up in that sheriff car, and brat to tat tat tat. Gustavo was in the back seat waiting for him. Gustavo kills the goon first, and he drags the new sheriff in town out that car and shoot him in both kneecaps. Now, hitting your kneecap up against something, that is horrible. I don't want to even imagine how it feels to get shot in the kneecap. Next thing you know, another goon comes out of nowhere and shoots Gustavo 2 times in the chest. I was like, oh, not my baby, not my baby. Thank God he as well had a bulletproof vest on. Reed comes from behind the goon and he lights him up with that semi-automatic. I am so happy that my baby will be all right. And he got to get his revenge. And that's it for this episode. But I have questions. Where is those children that was at Gustavo's house? Where are they? And why is Franklin and Leon and them, they walking around like Scully isn't coming for them? I guess we'll see you on the next episode, child. I'll see you guys on the next. Bye.